Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my semi-final predictions for the Copa America. Now, in the quarterfinals, I got 3 out of 4 correct, just like the Euros as well. The only match I got incorrect was Venezuela versus Canada. I did predict Venezuela to go through after getting 3 wins for the first time in their history in Copa America. I thought they could do it against the debutants to make it to the semifinals, but Canada shined brilliantly on penalties. So the debutants will be facing Argentina, and then on the other side of the bracket, we have Uruguay versus Colombia, which is a very tough one to call. The rest of the tournament will be incredible to watch. Let me know your thoughts as always, what's going to happen at this stage in the comments below, along with who you think will win Copa America at the end. Don't forget to leave an early like as well. Let's try to hit 2,000 likes on this video. So let me know if you guys want to see me do a prediction for the final matchup. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with Argentina versus Canada, a rematch from the group stage. In fact, this matchup was the opening match in Copa America, where Argentina did defeat them 2-0. Both of these sides did advance on penalties with also the same exact scoreline, both matches finishing 1-1. Argentina, expected to do much better against Ecuador, nearly fell off, but their goalkeeper Emi Martinez, who always comes in clutch for the national team, saves them once again. We even saw Messi miss his penalty in the shootout. It was a perfect opportunity for Ecuador to break history though. Ecuador have never beaten Argentina in the Copa America in the Copa America's entire history, and the tournament has been going on for over 100 years. Still, Argentina continuing the tradition to always come up on top against this side in the Copa America, and now on paper they definitely should be able to defeat Canada, as they already have in the opening match, but we cannot rule off Canada. They had a fantastic display against Venezuela. First of all, I want to say big shout out to Venezuela for having a fantastic tournament. Despite them getting knocked out, Rondon has still gone on to score in every single one of his matches that he played in. And his goal against Canada was a beauty, a 40-yard chip. But that was the only mistake the Canadian goalkeeper could have probably made in the Copa America so far. He's been fantastic the entire tournament, and Canada did deservingly advance over Venezuela. They only scored their second goal in the entire tournament in that match, but hey, this side are the only debutants in the Copa America, and they have already made it to the semi-final. When many expected the United States and Mexico to be the ones to be in the knockouts, it's Canada instead. And they made it past the first round of knockouts. Semi-finals, definitely a fantastic fleet. Whatever happens in this match, the Canadians should be proud. And even in that match where they did lose to Argentina already 2-0, Canada still had some impressive moments. So really, it is still possible for an upset to happen here. Jesse Marsch ended up being a fantastic fit for the Canadian national team, and really they could go all the way. It's going to be tough against the defending champions, and they have already played this side, but maybe they can use that experience that they had against Argentina to their disposal. And Argentina have not been the most convincing this tournament. Despite making it to the semifinals, of course, and despite still being undefeated, they have not been as electric throughout as expected. Wasteful in many attacking moments, they definitely are not looking to be that same side in the 2022 World Cup, where obviously they won the whole thing. They definitely have a solid chance to be back-to-back Copa America champions, because honestly, they've had quite the favorable road. Their group was doable. They faced Ecuador, and then now they're coming up against Canada in the semifinals. If they beat Canada once again, then their toughest task is probably going to be in the final. That other side of the bracket is looking a lot more deadly. Canada have had many fantastic individual displays, Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David being the biggest names. Shuffleberg also scoring the opening goal against Venezuela to give Canada the initial lead. Regardless of Argentina not living up to the highest of expectations and Canada definitely impressing, I still think Argentina will be the ones to advance to the final. Maybe we'll see a more narrow match compared to the opener. I'm going to go for 2-1 Argentina. But with that all being said, best of luck to Canada. And now moving on to the other side of the bracket, the matchup that is much tougher to call on paper, Uruguay versus Colombia. Both these sides are deemed to be potential favorites in this competition, and both have every reason to be hopeful that they can make it to the final. Uruguay just defeating Brazil in the quarterfinals. Yes, it was 0-0 that went to penalties, but this is the first time Bielsa have been able to beat Brazil in a major international competition. Yes, he also recently defeated them in the World Cup qualifiers, but now in a tournament fashion, it's very impressive. Obviously, that one was 0-0, but Brazil are a very strong side, and prior to that, Uruguay were flying high. In the group stage, they scored the most goals in the competition, while Colombia have just smashed Panama 5-0 to now make it 27 matches unbeaten for them. They also had to come up against Brazil in the group stage, which finished in a draw as well. Prior to that, a narrow result against Panama and 3-0 against Costa Rica. Many attacking players have been shining recently. Cordoba already having 4 direct goal contributions in 4 matches in this competition. Lucho bagging in 2 goals himself, but the captain James Rodriguez. Whenever he puts on a Colombia shirt, this man shines. 5 assists in 4 matches in the competition, along with getting 1 goal. Colombia all around are a well-balanced team that are excelling in every single position, and Lorenzo is getting the best out of every single one of these players in the squad. While Uruguay under Bielsa has been fantastic as well, but unfortunately they will be missing one of their best defenders, Araujo, as he's picked up an injury against Brazil, along with the suspension from Nandes. Now, obviously, I don't think that one's as much of a blow as Araujo, but still, it's going to be interesting to see how Uruguay adapt without these missing players that they have been utilizing throughout the competition heavily. This one's truly a flip of a coin. In my early prediction video, I said Uruguay would be the ones to reach the final. In my updated one that I uploaded more recently, I said Colombia would be the ones to do so. And both are meeting to secure that spot. If Uruguay are able to end Colombia's unbeaten streak, that would be massive, obviously. But even if they get knocked out on penalties to Uruguay, it still would not count as a loss technically, as a match that finishes penalties is considered a draw. But either way, what a match we have on our hands. You can't argue that Uruguay were not tested enough in their group, while Colombia were, but at the same time, Uruguay definitely had a more difficult quarterfinal opponent than Colombia have. Both sides have faced Panama, where they did get convincing scorelines against them. You would not be crazy to predict one or the other. Both are very reasonable takes, but I am leaning towards Colombia. I got to back my final prediction I uploaded right before the tournament began, and I'm saying that Colombia can defeat Uruguay 2-1. So my final match would be Argentina versus Colombia. What a match this would be. Argentina probably the favorites for many on paper, but based on the way they're playing and based on the way Colombia are playing, we really could see Colombia become the new crowned champion over Argentina. But who knows, Argentina can wake up in this match, or they can just squeeze through narrowly, maybe on penalties. I don't know. But yeah, guys, like I said, let me know your thoughts as always in the comments below. Thank you all for making it all the way to the end, and I will see you all very, very soon for a final Euro prediction and Copa America. Anyways, take care. La cu noci.